Greetings, everyone. Greetings. There we go. Yeah, just quickly coming on to let you all know that I'm about to go live on Stickam. So I know some of you were wanting to pop in and see if you could sit in on a live taping of a Multimedia Chronicles episode. So we'll probably be doing that again tonight, and just generally having the usual chat room. Hi, Jinx. So feel free to. God, I can't talk. I need to make food. You can watch me make food live on Stickam. Ow! I bumped my elbow. Okay, Stickam. Now, go. I'll put the link in the description. If it's not there yet, it's because I just posted this and I haven't put it up yet. So, yeah. If not, well, you can see the video. By the way, I did tape a video last time I was on Stickam, and if you weren't there, but you want a sneak peek at what the next video here is going to be, I recorded the entire recording session, so the recording of the recording. So you can check that out on the videos section of my Stickam page. Alrighty. So we'll see at least a few of you, I'm sure, over on Stickam, and the rest of you, well, hope you're having a good Saturday night. Alright. Goodbye. Ah, you thought I was going to say sayonara, didn't you? Yeah, well, I didn't. Sadly, no backwards compatibility with that one. There. Hold on a second. Okay. There we go. All right. It's flowers, not blood stains.
It's flowers, not blood stains. Flowers, not blood stains.
All right. I guess I didn't need to be filming this part, did I? I love the spiraling echoes of burps.
I love the spiraling echoes of burps.
Alright. Put the one shirt that I own back on.
Put the one shirt that I own back on.
For the record, I do own more than one shirt. In fact, I have so many shirts I don't have enough coat hangers to hang them. I hear the echo of the burp like 30 seconds later.
I hear the echo of the burp like 30 seconds later.
Double check the tape. Where the hell's my remote control? There it is. Oh, guess what I'm taping over? Here. You probably can't see. Now that sounded like a puker. Oh yeah. Not to worry, I have all the footage on the hard drive. This is just the original tape, which the tapes are only temporary anyway. I actually store everything on the hard drive there. All right. Make sure the lens is clean. There we go. Okay. Good. Oh, shoot. I have to give a few seconds lead time. Here. Greetings, everyone. Well, we're filming live in the Stickam room again, and I realized we had a way bigger turnout today than I was expecting, so I don't feel like getting writer's cramp writing everyone's names down. So let's just head over to the computer screen and see who's here. Hi. Yeah, this is actually the cam that everyone else is seeing. So this is sort of the view that they get. And we're actually recording this on Stickam as well. So if you want to see the Stickam cam, head on over there and you can check out everything that you missed by not being here. So let's see who all is here. We have Zarin Izarak. Oh, I think I know that guy. And I'm just going to get my mouse pointer here. It's a little bit awkward. Going to focus before we do this here. We have Aficionados Chris, Avatar 1000, Bleh 49, Chrome Ghost 219, Dream of the Endless, E McG 0211, Epic Conspiracy, Futuristic Artist, Jeffrey Wild, J-Star 305, No One Everyone, Kratos Fan, Metal Fan 50, Mithronies, Patrick Butler 1981, Silent Joe, Stout Man, Stratomaster 78, The Average Grunt, The Super Lauren, Thrustbone, and you know that guy. And there's what they all look like. Oh, hold on a second. Everyone's out of focus. Hang on a sec. And here's what a few of them look like. The Lucky 6 on cam, The Average Grunt, J-Star 305, The Super Lauren. Sorry, I couldn't read it, and we just went out of focus. Hang on. What? Are you stuck on... Yeah, you're on fucking... Ah! My focus is going crazy here. Hang on. There. Let's try that again. Great. Here, we'll do it this way. There we go. Okay. Let's start at the top again. Did you want to put your mask back on, Javi? So I'm just going to do this way. Okay, we have the Average Grunt, J-Star 305, the Super Lauren, Kratos Fan, Chrome Ghost 219, oop, almost saw his face there, and Patrick Butler 1981. Alright. Now this focus is really pissing me off here. I love having the manual focus dial, but because this camera's so old, it doesn't always work properly. Okay, back over here we go. Pause. Gonna actually do this. It's gonna be like the longest shout out ever. But you guys are worth it. Power down, power up, power on. That's better. Okay. Yay, focus. There we go. Okay. Alright, I think we're good. Let's check. Yes. Good. Excellent. Now, where did I put my remote? Ah, there it is. Okay. Just give the forehead a wipe. My face tends to get shiny, so I like to wipe it down before shooting sometimes, if I remember. So it's just like, dude, you're blinding me with your forehead. Alright. I'm so shiny. Now we'll keep that on. We'll keep that on because we get the nice fake wood grain color here. Alright. Let's rock. Wow, you guys just saw something that wasn't recorded here. Whoa! Okay, I guess I'll walk on. Ah, there we go. Yeah, you guys will totally be fooled by this prop camera I'm holding with the lens cap on. Anyway, quite a turnout today. Alright, so today we're actually going to wrap up the horror movie selection. Wow, didn't think we'd ever get to the end of the horror movies. Well, it's not going to be the end of the horror movies. I will be getting more later this year, of course, but for now, it's the end, and as I mentioned at the end of the last one, I think you guys will, some of you will be breathing a hearty sigh of relief that finally we'll be getting on to something else next time. Alright, so let's not waste any time. Horror movie Blu-rays, today on the Multimedia Chronicles. And I'm just going to close the window over there, which I left open by mistake, so the whole world doesn't hear me doing this. There we go. Closed set. Which ones are we doing today? Ah, yes. Okay. this one. Okay. Alright, I think we'll do them in this order. Welcome back. Well, I guess one of the things I should have mentioned is all of the... Welcome back. Well, I guess one of the things I should have mentioned is that all three of the Blu-rays that we'll be talking about today were actually bargain bin purchases. Yes, 2 of them I got for $7, 1 of them I got for $10. Not too shabby. Alright, let's see what we got. First off, these are all ones that I've been meaning to see for a while, or that I'd heard about, or that I'd just kind of seen around and thought they looked interesting. Yeah, so first off, we have one... We have one. So first off, we have another one of those types of movies that's kind of hard to classify. I tend to lean towards horror just because of some of the aspects of it, although you might just as easily put it into sci-fi, or murder mystery, or thriller. I don't know, I'd like to put it in horror just because it has some sort of horror aspects to it. You know, it's not hugely scary, but there's some really cool imagery in it, and that's one of the reasons I really wanted to see it, especially on Blu-ray. I'm, of course, talking about the J-Lo thriller classic, The Cell. Now, I remember seeing the trailers for this when it first came out in theaters, and I thought it looked really cool, at least visually. But I'd heard kind of mixed reviews about the story and the acting and stuff like that, so I didn't really know what to think, and I never really bothered to check it out. Until now, when I saw it on sale for $10 at Shoppers Drug Mart, of all places. Yes, Shoppers Drug Mart sells Blu-rays. And they sell them cheap, so there you go. Anyway, this is another one of those Alliance Canadian bare bones releases, so there's no extras to speak of. And the transfer itself is... There's no, like, real noticeable DNR or edge enhancement or anything like that, but it is very soft. I mean, considering how striking some of the visual design is in this film, you'd really expect a little more effort to go into the transfer and the picture quality, because it's really, it's all about the eye candy with this thing, you know? So anyway, we have Jennifer Lopez, who plays a psychologist, essentially, who has the gift of being able to enter people's dreams with the aid of some pretty high-tech equipment. It's basically an experimental thing that she's doing, and as the story opens, she's actually helping a young boy who is in a coma. And the interesting thing about this young boy is he's in a coma willingly. He's aware that he's in a coma, but he just doesn't want to come out of it. So she's going into his dreams, into his subconscious, and trying to help him work through whatever issues he has to try to convince him to come out of it. And, you know, because his parents are, you know, worried about him. So anyway, so that's kind of where the story starts. And then it goes over to the FBI trying to catch this serial killer that they've been tracking for ages. Now, cool thing here, the lead FBI agent is played by Vince Vaughn, who normally plays comedic roles, is primarily known as a comedic actor, but he's really damn good as this serious, gutsy, ballsy FBI agent. And then, you know who plays the serial killer? Vincent D'Onofrio. I love Vincent D'Onofrio. I mean, he does good stuff. It always happens. I go on a roll for a while, and then the mental train just derails and crashes, and there's bodies everywhere. A lot of you probably know him, of course, from Criminal Minds, which is great. I mean, I'm not a big Law and Order fan myself, but Criminal Minds I tune into once in a while. Honestly, because Vincent D'Onofrio is on it, and I think he's awesome. Anyway, he plays the serial killer in this, and he is really good and creepy and freaky as shit. Just an awesome, awesome performance. But anyway, you can kind of see where the... So you can kind of see where the plot's going. Basically, the FBI catches up with the serial killer, and there's a big shootout, guns a-blazing. Whoa, what the hell was that? The killer is coming up through my sink. I just heard this in the bathroom. It's like, it's either Vincent D'Onofrio or the Blob. Anyway, my sink in the kitchen, I guess it's from being on the main floor, whenever the neighbors upstairs drain their dishwater, it goes into my sink, and I get like foam bubbles and bits of food coming up in my sink. It's really quite lovely. Anyway, the fuck was I talking about now? Yeah, okay. So there's this massive shootout. They get the guy, but he gets shot in the process. He's not dead. He's in a coma. You can kind of see where things are going here, right? Yeah. So they catch wind of this experimental thing that J-Lo is doing and say, hey, Now normally that wouldn't be a big deal, except here's the problem. This particular serial killer has a very particular way he likes to kill people. He kills them without actually being near them. He puts them like in a water tank and videotapes them and watches the videotape from afar, and it's all automated. So basically, when they caught him, there was still one victim unaccounted for who they're pretty sure is still alive, but they have no idea where she is. So they get in touch with J-Lo and say, hey, can you go into this guy's dreams and see if you can get him to tell you where this chick is? Because we'd like to, you know, save her before she dies and stuff. That'd be great, thanks. So that's basically just the setup. I mean, I basically just described the first few scenes of the movie. And that gets you into the main meat of the story, which is, of course, J-Lo going into the mind of the serial killer, getting to the root of what makes him a serial killer, and trying to convince him to tell her where the girl is. And in the process, you find out a lot about the serial killer and what made him the way he is. And it's actually, honestly, it's actually pretty damn interesting. I mean, you really get into the origins of what made this guy crazy and a fucked up serial killer. And I really enjoyed it a lot, actually. So yeah, I don't know what the deal was with the mixed reviews, but I thought it was a pretty decent movie. I'd really like to see a properly done Blu-ray of it, though, because the picture quality on this, while it's certainly watchable, really does not do justice to the absolutely amazing visuals. I mean, when you're in the dream world, and especially the serial killer's dream world, there's just some amazing imagery in there of just, you know, how he sees himself in his own mind, juxtaposed with how he actually is and what made him that way. And then just all the nightmarish images that go along with that. And it's really fascinating stuff. So anyway, yeah, check it out. It's cheap on Blu-ray or stream it on Netflix, whatever, if you haven't seen it. I'm not really big on J-Lo myself, but this was, I think, fairly early in her career, and when she was still kind of respected somewhat. At the very least, it's totally worth it to see Vince Vaughn and Vincent D'Onofrio as the FBI agent and the serial killer, respectively. So, The Cell. I think there's an alternate cut of this as well, which I don't think is the one that's on the Blu-ray. It doesn't specify. Yeah, well, the cut on this one is 1 hour and 47 minutes. Oh, and if you're wondering about specs, it's 2.4 to 1 aspect ratio, basically CinemaScope. English 5.1 DTS HD Master Audio, and 5.1 Dolby Digital, and then French in 5.1 Dolby Digital, and that is it. Alrighty, so next up we got another bargain bin acquisition. I love a good ghost story, I love a good haunted house story, and I didn't really know anything about this one. I just thought the cover looked cool and wanted to check it out, and the cast was certainly of interest to me. It's got Donald Sutherland and Sissy Spacek in it, you know, two very seasoned actors who rarely disappoint. I am, of course, talking about An American Haunting. Now, what can I say about An American Haunting? Essentially what this is about is, it takes place, there's kind of two stories going on simultaneously. The main story is a period piece telling about this girl who was haunted by, or being tormented by some kind of vengeful spirit of some kind. And it's about them trying to get to the root of the mystery of that, of what's constantly attacking her. What is it? What is this thing? Is it a dead person that was tormented here at some point or whatever? They don't know, so they're trying to get to the bottom of it, and it's a really good little mystery, you know, wrapped up in a ghost story. Blah, blah, blah. It's a really good, you know, mystery, ghost story kind of thing. But here's the problem I had with it, is it's bookended by a modern day story. Well, basically it starts off in modern day where this girl is being chased by some kind of spirit or whatever, and somewhere in their travels her mother discovers a book that goes into the history of the house, and that's how we get into the period piece, which makes up 99% of the movie. And then at the end, without giving anything away, it ends in modern day again with sort of the little conclusion of the modern day version of the story. So essentially what the idea is that the same thing is happening in the present that happened in the past. But the problem with it, I mean, that can be fine, I mean, to link things together like that, and it's been done well before in other movies. But the problem I had with it in this one is it just seemed really tacked on. Like, it really didn't seem to have much of a connection with any weight to it to the period piece story. I found the period piece story stood up very well on its own, and there was no need for the modern day bookends. I mean, it just seemed silly and pointless, and why is this in this movie, you know? So it's like fast forward past that part and just get to the period piece part. So the period piece part, you got Donald Sutherland as the father of the tormented daughter, and Sissy Spacek as her mother. Sissy Spacek, of course, most of us probably know from Carrie, from back when she was a teenager, you know, and yeah, needless to say, she's grown up some, but still a fine, fine actress. And, you know, it was the two of them, I think, that made me keep watching this more than anything else. I found the story really interesting, but I didn't honestly find it particularly scary. I mean, not as scary as some other ghost stories I've seen. I think maybe, I don't know who to blame, really, if I blame the director or maybe the producer. Again, this is another Alliance Atlantis bare bones release, so there's no behind-the-scenes info, so I really have no insight whatsoever into what the story was behind the making of it, but other than what I can sort of, you know, piece together just from the end result on the screen. But, you know, it's overall, it's not a bad little ghost story. If you find it cheap, pick it up if you just want to throw it into your ghost story collection. I enjoyed it, and I would watch it again, but I'll probably be fast scanning through the modern day scenes because they were completely pointless. It's all about the period piece in this, and it's and that part of it's really good, as I said. So anyway, specs here, we got 2.35 to 1 aspect ratio, so CinemaScope again. English 5.1 DTS HD and Dolby and 5.1 Dolby Digital English, and then 5.1 Dolby Digital French. Basically the exact same specs as the Cell. And again, unremarkable transfer, perfectly watchable, no evidence of excessive tampering. It's basically just a straight transfer of whatever HD master they had on hand at the time, which is pretty much what you can say about all the old you know, the bargain bin Alliance Canadian releases. They're not much to look at, and you know, they really, you're not going to use any of them as your show-off discs, but they're perfectly watchable. I mean, they're not like excessively bad or anything. Okay, now, last but most definitely not least, this is one people have been recommending to me for ages, and I don't know why I waited so long to see it. I think it's because I saw the previews, and there's just something about the previews didn't particularly grab me. It just like, it was like, oh yeah, another typical Hollywoodized, lame attempt at horror. Like, how good is that going to be, really? I mean, really? Then I picked it up for $7.98 and actually watched the damn thing. And holy crap. I've been wrong about movies before where I look at a trailer and say, yeah, that looks like crap. I'm never going to watch that. Why would I bother watching that? You know, AI was one of those. I thought it looked horrible from the trailer, watched the movie, loved it. Now it's out on Blu-ray. I really want the Blu-ray. Well, this is another one that falls into that category. Saw the trailer, thought it looked lame, avoided it, but then everybody and their dog was saying, you haven't seen this movie? It's fantastic. See it. I am, of course, talking about the classic, well, not really old enough to be a classic yet. I am, of course, talking about the wonderful claustrophobic horror movie, The Descent. Strangely enough, the sequel is not on Blu-ray yet, but anyway, this is a pretty decent DVD. I'll just go over the specs first, I guess, and then talk to you about the... No, I won't go over the specs. I'll go over the specs later. Blah, blah, blah. Now, why did I like The Descent so much? Well, I've always been a fan of the so-called claustrophobic horror movies. Like I mentioned with An American Haunting, I've always loved haunted house movies. And you know I love haunted house movies. I mean, I talk about The Haunting and The Legend of Hell House and The Innocents. 3 of my all-time favorite horror movies slash ghost stories slash haunted house movies right there. And they're fantastic. Alien. Alien is essentially a haunted house movie in space. You know, just the Thing. The Thing is a haunted house movie in Antarctica, you know? It's just the whole idea of being trapped somewhere, unable to escape, plus there's something in there with you trying to kill you. Okay? I just love that whole concept. I think it's great, and it's a wonderful vehicle for horror. I mean, it adds layers of terror to it. And it's like there's the terror of being trapped, there's the terror of not being able to escape, and the terror of being hunted by something. You know, it's great. And The Descent is a worthy addition to that genre. Holy crap. Okay, of all the movies I showed today, if you only see one of them, make it this one if you haven't seen it. Basically what we have here is a woman who has suffered a terrible accident. She loses her husband and her little girl in a horrible car accident, which, as the loving parent of a little girl, I found a little hard to watch. But, you know, next it picks up a few years later. She's basically trying to get on with her life and stuff, and she's been traumatized by the whole thing, quite understandably. And as part of a personal journey / catharsis for herself, she's decided to go on this adventure with a bunch of her friends and, you know, some just acquaintances. So they decide to go spelunking. So they got some experienced cave explorer people with them who've done this kind of thing before, and they decide to go explore some local caves, like some subterranean caves, and that's scary enough in itself. They're going down into these caves, and it's tight, and you can't stand up. They're crawling through all these tight spaces and everything. I mean, a lot of it was done on sets and stuff. It wasn't even like actual locations. Some of it's locations, but most of it is all sets. But it's totally convincing that you totally believe that they're like miles under the surface of the earth in these tight, claustrophobic caves. And so they go in. There's a bit of a cave in, and they get trapped. And then not only are they trapped, but there's something living in those caves that's trying to kill them. And the terror begins. Well, the terror is already well under swing by this point. You're like, oh my god, I mean, it could have just been a movie about them being trapped in the fucking cave, and it would have been scary as hell. But no, let's throw some cannibalistic monsters in there too. Just to add to the fun. And it works great. This is such an effective horror film. I was really just blown away by it. And I've heard such diametrically opposed reviews of the second one. Some say it's great, some say it sucks. I'm really nervous about seeing the second one because I really don't want to lessen the impact of this one. And I'm sure in the comments down below I'm going to get a million different opinions of the second one. Someone will be saying, no, see it, it's awesome, and the rest will be saying, what are you talking about, it sucks, and then you'll probably get into big, troll wars with each other. But anyway, I love the first one, so regardless of whether or not, I will see the second one eventually just out of curiosity, but, I'm in no big rush because I loved this one so much that this is easily going to become one of my all-time favorites. And it's actually directed by Neil Marshall. It's kind of funny, I've been kind of on a Neil Marshall kick lately. I just saw Centurion recently, and then The Descent, which is probably the one he's most well known for. And so I still have to watch Doomsday, which is another one that I really want to check out. So, yeah. Anyway, The Descent, awesome horror movie. Let's see what we got on the DVD. Now, this is actually the only one that has extras, and ironically, I think it was the cheapest out of all of them. I think the other two were $10 each. This was $7.98. I actually picked it up the same day I picked up the two Rob Zombie ones. Check out this list of extras. I mean, just look at that big, dense box of text. That's all extras. Let's check it out here. We got The Descent, Beneath the Scenes, newly remastered, deleted, and extended scenes, outtakes, Descending, interview with director Neil Marshall, director and crew commentary, director and cast commentary, 1080p high definition 16:9 widescreen. Okay, don't list that as a special feature. That's just what it is. Feature presentations of R-rated and uncut endings. Yeah, this actually has both cuts. If you were wondering, it has both cuts. 6.1 PCM uncompressed audio. Yeah, uncompressed, baby. That's the way to go. And we also got 5.1 Dolby Digital Surround EX audio if you really want compressed audio. Why would you even use that track? PCM, baby, come on! Blu-ray makes it possible. English and Spanish subtitles, but no French, obviously not a Canadian release. Caving, a high-definition experience. That is really cool. and shows just how scary it could have been if they had just done it as a cave exploring movie. It's basically a first-person perspective of someone going through like those types of caves, but for real. And runs for about 10 minutes, and just that 10 minutes, you feel so like trapped in there. It's great. It's a really nice extra. The Gate, the Descent Underground Experience. Go to the next level of Blu-ray special features. Gain access inside the making of the motion picture by simultaneously viewing behind-the-scenes footage, in-depth interviews, and commentaries, all without ever leaving the feature film. So again, sort of an Infinifilm feature. Storyboard and scene comparisons, stills gallery, cast and crew biographies, and the special features are all presented in high def. Something you don't always see, especially with movies that are a few years old. Yeah, so this was a hell of a deal for $7.98. Not only was it an awesome movie, but it's freaking loaded with extras. So, great stuff. So, to sum up, The Cell. Far better than I think some people make it out to be. I liked it a lot. An American Haunting. Not a bad little ghost story, but could have been better put together. The period piece section is really good. The modern day sections could do without. The Descent, fucking amazing. I love it. Enough said. Alrighty, well, that's it for the horror. I gotta put all this away and put up another display for the next batch of videos. What will that be? Well, you'll just have to tune in. Well, you'll just have to tune in again next time to find out. Until then, thanks for watching, and sayonara. How long was that?